on? How's it going?
Good. How's life been for you?
Very good. Kind of starting to be able to breathe a little bit here. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Harvest season comes to an end shortly,
yeah,
doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah, we're done. Yeah, so it was nice to wrap up. We're getting a little rain here today. So, yeah, can't complain.
No, has it been a good year overall for you?
It was a good year. Yeah, we did quite well this year. So we're pretty happy with everything we got. And it's always, I mean, we've farmed well into October before, so it's always nice to get like done a little early. And there's times where it's like rained and you're sitting for 20 days, but it's just hard to start any new projects or anything else when you're kind of waiting on getting that done. So yeah, it was nice to
Oh
get it
yeah.
wrapped up early.
You're in limbo, right? It's that phase,
Yeah,
the awkward phase.
it is awkward. Yeah. So no, it's been great.
That's good. For
Yeah.
the listeners, Drew, you're in Alberta, but you're not Blackie.
No, I live in Strathmore now. Our farm is out around Standard, so it's yeah, it's like an hour east of Calgary, just about straight east of Calgary.
Interesting. Yeah, standard. Oh my God. I just like many people probably know about one story from Standard.
You have one story. Well, that's more than most, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that's good. So you have your own studio at home. I see that.
yeah, it's kind of just a little basement kind of thing. I don't do a ton of recording here, but nice to be able to come down and listen to things and do a few things. So it's yeah, it's always nice to have that space. And we have like a three-story house, so we got the two boys and the wife can go upstairs and still sleep, and we got that one floor of separation. So it's nice to don't keep them up all night doing the music thing.
Absolutely. And especially after work, that's kind of like your unwind time, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've always said that about music. I mean, people wonder how you kind of do a couple jobs, but like, finish on the farm on a Friday and head out on the road and do a couple shows. And it's to me that is the unwind time, just hanging out with the band and stuff, and even the road trips. And yeah, it's a blast. And yeah, even like I say, coming down here, listening to some music and getting some work done here. It's something I enjoy so much that it never feels like another job that I got to run to. So it's great.
I love it. Where do you get your inspiration from for your sound and for your music?
Yeah, I mean, lots of different places. I guess lyrically, just kind of coming from the farm, and the like Standard has 350 people in it, so there's lots of inspiration, just for those small town stories and stuff. And the farm, it gives me lots of time, I guess, sitting on tractors going real slow back and forth for quite a while, and think up a lot of ideas and stuff there, I guess, too. So that's kind of lyrically where it comes from. Musically, I would say more inclined to the rock and roll side of things, maybe more like a classic rock, I guess. I grew up just on a lot of that. You see the records behind me there too. So some of those are dad's, and kind of started my own collection, but always loved the vinyl, and we always had a lot of that. Mom and dad always had tons of music on, but yeah, it was generally more in the kind of rock and classic rock, 60s, 70s stuff. So I think when I kind of get in the studio, I like to rock it up a little heavier guitars and stuff, and have some fun with it musically that way too.
I love it. When it comes to influence and just vinyl in general, that sound is so unique, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I've loved it. I've dreamed for a long time about having a vinyl, and we're finally making it happen here. We're actually
no
putting
way.
a bunch of, so I've got I guess like seven kind of records, EPs out now. They're kind of behind me there too. If you can see up
Oh,
on the
wow.
left,
Look at
kind of
that.
made, yeah, little little pictures of all of them. But yeah, I have been at it, 12 years. We put a few albums out now, and I thought, what if we kind of it's vinyl is tricky because it's quite expensive, especially if you're doing a little bit of a smaller order. So a lot of the common thing to do is make like kind of 6-pack albums. So you're not really even filling the vinyl when you do that. So we're trying to come up with a way that we could get a vinyl record out. We thought, what if we did like kind of a greatest hits so far? So we called it a decade of music, and I guess we called it a look back. And we kind of developed it last year, and put some of the old kind of the pre-COVID songs out that people really were drawn to from each album. Made it a whole fan-driven experience. Made sure we had lots of posts on social media, and people could give their input about what their favorite songs were and why. And yeah, the whole process has been awesome. And yeah, we should be getting that right away here, and we're gonna try to get it out before Christmas, and yeah, give people a chance to get me on vinyl, and just a dream of mine kind of come true as well.
when it comes to vinyl, it's funny back in the day how inexpensive it was, and now
Yeah.
today it's like a thing where even buying a vinyl is like $60.
Is that right? Man, I don't think we're going to call that charge that much, but yeah, we'll try
Okay.
to again. It was a fan based thing, and to me, the whole thing was like a just to make that kind of dream of mine of having a vinyl come true, and b just give something that the people that have been with us right from the start. I put my first album out CD, I guess, in 2010, so that was kind of where it started for me, and yeah, what did we? Think we had like 37 songs we have put out, fully recorded studio stuff. So yeah, it was a chance to kind of put the best of all together and again just give back for that. So I won't charge $60 anyways.
No, that's good. It's funny though. For you, what exactly is vinyl? Like that sound in your ear. What is it that it draws us to vinyl?
Man, that's a good question. It's for me, it's a bit of a nostalgic thing. There is a sound for sure, but there's also just that feeling of like I'm gonna go put a side of a record on and listen to it. I'm not like skipping through Spotify or iTunes. You're not like just skip, skip, skip kind of thing. It's like kind of the experience is probably the bigger thing for me. Just kind of growing up with it. But there definitely is a sound that little bit of white noise, that little bit of especially when you get into the older records. I mean, the way they recorded things, like now everything's perfect. And if it doesn't sound, if something's a little off, you really notice it because everything else, radio, everywhere else is just everything's been recorded on computers and you can just do things over and over. I actually love just hearing some mistakes and stuff. And there's some huge, amazing albums that like they just had to record it all at once together, So there's definitely little blips and stuff where people have kind of messed up. And I just love that. It's just makes music real to me. So that's another thing that I love about
There's
vinyl.
beauty in imperfection, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's the human side of it. It's always what I've loved about music, not the perfect side of it. So yeah,
It's
definitely.
funny. I love vinyl. So Johnny Cash is on replay.
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm a huge
Yeah.
Johnny Cash fan.
Yeah, I think I got one or two. I got a lot of Waylon. There's a few Waylon albums in there. So yeah, kind of a mix of that kind of edgier country, and then like I said, lots of old rock too.
Did you grow up on a farm?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, we lived in town in Standard until I was 16, and the farm is about 3 miles west of Standard. So we moved out there when my grandparents moved off the farm. So it's like about a fifth generation farm. The farmyard itself has been in the family for three generations. So yeah, my grandma and grandpa moved off the farm. We moved out there, so I got a little bit of the full farm experience for my teen years. And yeah, I think we hope to be out there soon as well. So mom and dad are gonna move to town, and we can kind of get out there. And I'd love to raise my boys. They're 6 and 3 now, so I think it's there's things you lose being way out there on the farm, but I think there's a whole bunch more you gain, and just that fact that you're kind of living in the same place that you're working, just able to teach them so much more. I think being out there.
When you think about the farm and the pride and joy that you get out of it personally, what do you think it is? Is it the sunsets? Is it just
Yeah.
knowing that you're fifth generation? What is it? What makes you
Been
tick?
following my Instagram lately. I think I just watch the sunset every day because
Yes.
they were beautiful this year. But yeah, I don't know. That to me, I guess, is the time. Even during harvest season, we still got 3-4 hours of work after the sun goes down. But to me, that's the time where the day kind of settles out, and you're just kind of looking out, and there's just a calmness every day to it. The just the quietness of it. I lived in the city, so moved right from there, standard little town, and then the farm right into the city when I was 18, and just I spent 2 years. It was crazy, it was fun, but after 2 years, I kind of realized that wasn't the place for me. So we've been back out in the country ever since. But yeah, I don't know. I guess growing up with it, it's just it's really part of life. I remember Grandpa telling me once that farming was a lot more than just earning a paycheck. It's a whole way of life, and I think the fact that your job is also your way of life is maybe a big part of the where the pride comes from too.
Oh, 100%. Are
Yeah,
you guys farming for wheat?
yeah, we do wheat and barley and canola and peas. So we rotate crops, and we have no livestock, so it's all just grain farm, which has worked out well with the music. You know, you had a lot of work to do, especially in the summer, but the winter get a little more time to do the songwriting. And I get down to Nashville a couple times a winter to meet up with some songwriting friends. And yeah, it's it's busy but flexible, I guess, when it needs to be at certain times of year. Certain times it's not. I usually take May off for seeding and September off for the harvest at least. And yeah, it's so far worked pretty well together.
When you look at farming, I mean, 5 generations, so technology has just changed over the years. Has it changed rapidly as we look over the last 10 years versus before? You know, it was like
Yeah,
slowly growing.
yeah. I mean, I think people underestimate when you start talking about farm tech. It's incredible, like what they've done, and same as anything. I mean, computers, different things, that have all, rapidly advanced in the last 10, 20 years, apart from, the previous 80 years kind of thing. So it's crazy how far farming's come, and it's a business just like any other. You got to adapt with all that technology, and that's where I feel I've kind of added some value, is trying to keep up on all these tech trends. And the things we do have at our disposal are amazing, and talk about the environmental impact and all that stuff too. So that's going to become a bigger and bigger thing, where we're not just like used to just like till everything, and that caused a lot of dirt to blow away, erosion, different things like that. So now we do no-till farming, like just the fertilizers, how we apply those, and we have GPS on everything. So now you do variable rate, where the crops are going to grow and you really need a lot of fertilizer, you can put more down, and then that all that fertilizer is utilized. But as opposed to just broadcasting the same amount everywhere, a lot of that runs off or is evaporated. And so it's just all this different technology coming in is incredible, and in my opinion, nothing but good, except it
Oh,
costs a lot of money. That's the only thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they say like ag tech, there's so much out there now, but it's like what is actually beneficial and what's just noise. Just like
Yeah.
anything, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this sounds great, but is it gonna actually benefit me or is it just complicating my life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then how much do you pay for that tech where it becomes more beneficial to have it than not have it? You know what I mean? So it's
Do
yeah.
you guys use one software like for everything, like management?
No, not really. We have like Trimble is kind of a big thing that we use, but then when you get like in that, we have some John Deere equipment, they kind of have their own system and stuff too. So
But
you
like,
can
how do you track all the wheat and all that? Because you know, like cat for ranchers, they have something from the states. It's called Cattle Max, and
okay.
it's like asset management. Like, oh, from birth to slaughter, almost kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to keep track of everything. Yeah, and we do keep track of everything. It's just on a couple of different programs. But yeah, the combine harvester has Trimble in it, so we can see exactly, yeah, where the high yields are and like why they were there. We do soil sampling as well. We have an agronomist on as well, so that's how you kind of determine your course of action for next year with the variable rate fertilizer, and different things, even with like sprays and stuff, where that's going to become more and more. You can just spray patches of where you need to, as opposed to just doing the whole field, where just the really bad weeds are and stuff. So yeah, it's just it's a lot of figuring out to do, but we do have like great agronomists and techs on board and stuff that can help us with that, and then we just got to implement it. So
You guys got like aerial technology to look down, or
that's
just
the
take a
yeah,
drone?
that's I think going to be one of the next big things, flying the drones over your field. And then that's where you can get like just a tiny little patch. This is where some real bad weeds are, and then you take the sprayer over it and it just sprays that instead of doing the whole field again. So it's yeah, to me, like for how much the chemicals cost, how much fertilizers costs, that is going to be something where that's what you weigh against the technology that you have. And it's like right now, especially with fertilizer and the price of it, variable rate is clearly something that's needed, or you're cutting way back if you're just broadcasting all of it. But yeah, that's where it can really pay off. I think you're saving a lot of fertilizer, or at least all the fertilizer you're using is being utilized by the plant.
I feel like farming is it's not for anybody. Like it really is beyond the money. Like because it costs a lot.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
energy to
Yeah.
continue to push through year after year after year.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think you do have to love it. And I mean, it's a hard thing. I'm very thankful my family's in it too, because, I don't think you can just like think as a young kid right now, oh, I'm going to be a farmer when I grow up. If there's, if you're living in downtown Calgary, it's just, you can't buy land. If you're buying land, you're probably buying it for your kids or your kids' kids. Like, you're never going to pay it off anymore. That's just the reality of it. But yeah, and just we rent a lot of land too, from neighbors that have kind of gotten out of it over the last few years. It's just becoming a big business kind of thing. So you got to either keep up or just the price of everything is going to crush you. Same as any business, right? But yeah, you definitely got to love it.
So do you have like family that's also helping you when you guys are out there? Because that's a lot of land too, a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
acres.
we have just me and dad do most, and then we hire a guy. He's a retired guy, great guy to have, a very mechanical and everything, and he works with us in during the seeding season and the harvest season when it's really busy. But we don't have to keep him employed all year, because there's sometimes a year where we're just kind of waiting for things to be ready, or and he's fine, just kind of call me when you need me kind of thing. So
Love
it's a
it.
great
Yeah.
great
It's
great
always
guy.
good to have a guy like that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any
Yeah.
grain elevators around you guys?
No, not really close. We have to drive just probably about 45 minutes would just about be the closest one. So everything's on rail now, and we don't have any the railways were torn up years ago right around. So they used to go to every little town, and every little town had elevators, but that's when, there was like 100 farms around the town, not now it's down 10, 20 farms around the town. So yeah, you gotta haul it a little farther. So that's been another challenge. That's kind of the winter job, and we do have a lot of grain this year. We didn't have much last year, but yeah, we'll be moving lots of grain this year, which is a good problem to have.
I hope they can preserve some of those old grain elevators. I mean, they're just beautiful to drive by and see, and
They are, yeah.
historic.
They tore them all down in our town, but there was an artist in town that painted the all the elevators, like a nice painting of it, oil painting of it, and that, like, everybody in town has that on their wall. That's like the prints of that. It's yeah, it's definitely part of history, and it's sad to see them all go.
When I think about Standard, there was this documentary on that town
Okay.
because there was a gal way back in the day. Her name was Kelly. There was a kidnapping.
Yeah.
There's something
Yeah.
along those lines. There was a
Yeah.
gentleman I had met, and he was from Standard, so he told me that to check out that documentary. But wow,
Yeah.
what a story! And
Yeah. I think I've read that, or it was a podcast, I think, too. Yeah, it was
her name was Kelly, I think.
babysitter. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
Kelly.
babysitter. Yes, there we
Yeah,
go.
so yeah, she picked up yeah, sad
Yeah.
story. Yeah, picked up, given a fake name kind of thing, and
Mhm.
picked up and thinking she was going on a babysitting job, and never seen again. So yeah, it's unfortunate when you go to Wikipedia on Standard, that's like the one story that
It
comes up.
really is. Yeah.
Lots of good things there too, but hasn't quite made the news like that. And it's a big deal back in that day. So yeah, it was interesting to listen through that podcast, and they're just mentioning some of the names, and you recognize the names. So that was before my time. My dad, I think, was up in Red Deer at that time. My mom wasn't even out here yet, so he was, familiar enough with the story for sure, being from the town. But yeah, sad thing for sure.
When I think about it, did you know your whole life that you wanted to be a singer and a musician?
No, not really. Not from like when I was young, I never thought, I mean, you don't even think of it as a career. You see rock stars and everything, right? But yeah, when I was 15, again, mom and dad never had any instruments, never played in bands really. My grandpa on my mom's side, so she's from PEI. So he played a lot of guitar, but it was just around the kitchen table and stuff, and always loved that. And it wasn't until I was 15, I was at a friend's house and had they always had a guitar in the corner, and I would always kind of pick it up and just kind of joke around with it. And they were like, "Why don't you get a guitar? You always seem to be drawn to that." I was like, maybe I should. So yeah, I got my first guitar when I was 15. Never had taken even piano lessons or sung or anything. So but I just couldn't put it down after that. So it was every time I got home from school, it was playing right till I went to bed as much as I possibly could. I just kind of fell in love with it. Learned a lot of songs through high school, kind of started playing just the bonfires and stuff, but still never, even through college, played a little, but never thought of it much as a career, never wanted to take money for it or anything. Again, it was just something I enjoyed so much. And finally I played around enough parties. The hometown bar had hired me for like $200 or something,
Oh
and
wow.
I love that. Thought that was amazing to get paid, and had a little amp that I bought, and kind of thought, okay, maybe it kind of started to get into my mind. But I went to Nashville in 2009, and that was just kind of a last minute idea too. Just kind of was reading through a road atlas one day, and that was on the table, and saw Tennessee, and I thought, man, it would be cool to go down there. So I'd saved up some money through, I was working farming and doing the oil patch thing at that time too, from Alberta here, and yeah, just ended up taking the truck and packing it up, and going down there for about 3 months. And I thought, if I make it in three, I'll make it in 3 months, or I'll come back home. I got enough money for 3 months. And obviously that's not how it works, but just fell in love with the town. And there's a thousand other kids from small towns that we all think are pretty good in our town, and then you get down there and you realize you got a lot of work to do. You're humbled very quickly. So it was just a great experience, that first one. And then when I came back, I think started thinking about like putting a little album together. My sister actually loved music as well. Never played much more than a few piano lessons, and she had a job in the city and working at the beach music studio. She happened to get a
Oh, yeah.
job there, and part of her like training there was like, you got to record something. So she's like, you got a couple songs, you want to come in? And so kind of laid some down, and we were just going to make it for mom for Christmas kind of thing. And then everybody wanted a copy, and then it kind of started to click that like, oh man, maybe I can do this a little more seriously. And made another album, and that really took off locally anyways, just kind of word of mouth. And then got a manager, and she started to teach me how to put things to radio. And yeah, it just kind of snowballed, and I loved just every aspect, and still do. There's still just so much love for the music, but just love of the chase of it and everything else. It's what keeps me going.
I always wonder, is it better to stay an independent or go with a label?
Yeah,
There's so
that's
many pros and cons.
yeah, there is. Yeah, I've loved the independence, the freedom and stuff too. But I think there's definitely a point where like the label would be the right choice for sure. But yeah, just making sure we're kind of working with the right people. And I think I would say for any young artist, like do everything on your own for quite a while, like I even had a couple of years before I like get a full sense of the business, booking your own thing. I think people can be too quick to kind of jump into something, and then when you realize it's the wrong thing, it might be too late. You might have few-year contract or whatever it might be. So yeah, just kind of take your time as a young artist to really see the whole aspect of things. And then I think as your career develops, I think those things will kind of naturally either feel right or wrong, because you have a good sense of what they're able to do for you. And just the bigger the team gets, the more I think you're able to concentrate on your music and the things that you should be doing, and less on kind of some of the day-to-day things that somebody else could handle in a much quicker fashion. But yeah, same as anything, it's same as the farm. The more you pay other people, the less you're keeping in your pocket too. So you just kind of got to watch it all.
Now, Drew, where can someone purchase your albums, or where can we start? And they say this vinyl that's coming out, hopefully before
Yeah.
Christmas. I'm
Yeah.
totally getting it, by the way, because
Awesome. Yeah, we'll push that first, and we're just kind of I've like got a mailing list, VIP club. We always try to do some special things there, so that'll be the first place to go. But you can sign up for that if you want on the website drewgregorymusic.com. But they will also have we'll have it for sale up there shortly after we put it out to the fan club. And then yeah, that's kind of where the hub for everything. If you just want to go to drewgregorymusic.com, we got the links to all our socials, and you can kind of keep up to date on all that stuff too.
and if somebody wants to say book you for a gig, or your band for a gig, say here in Calgary, how do they do so?
Yeah,
Same
that
thing?
that same
Yeah,
spot. We have a book. I think one of the headings is booking or whatever. So yeah, or contact, I guess. And then yeah, with that website link will put you in touch with all the right people.
that's amazing. Have you gone to Origin yet and played out there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, love Origin. They've been great. We've never had like any official partnership, but when we were doing, through COVID, I was doing a lot of Facebook lives and stuff like that, and always had an origin beer and cheers and everybody. And then they drop some. There'd be a case on my front doorstep, every once in a while. So just kind of good friends with them, and yeah, we played their birthday party every year. In the summer, they do a big thing for Heritage Days. It's always a blast to put a big tent out in the parking lot there, and yeah, just good people. Nice to have that kind of, and they're all farmers too. So I think the branding crosses pretty nicely as well. They farm all their own barley that goes right into their own beer, which is kind of a cool and rare thing, that kind of farm to table thing. But yeah, good people, good brewery.
So I went to the car show out there, the Classic Auto Show.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
super cool. I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Strathmore's got some cool things. Sometimes they have a little bit of that Calgary bedroom community where
yes,
it's like, to get some things, it's kind of tough. But yeah, especially I noticed the Egg Society is working really hard right now. They're bringing out Brett Kissel next year, and they did Emerson Drive and Aaron Perchette last year, and we played the after party for that one, and it was a blast. So we're doing the one next year too. They're just trying to make use. The town has some great facilities, and you just need people to kind of get excited about it and make some use of it and bring some people here, and makes people think it's maybe a cool place to live. And they got that new airplane hangar that's coming in really
yeah.
soon as well. So that's gonna lots of stuff going on. So yeah, it's a fun place to be.
And here you're going to be moving out of there sooner or later.
Yeah, we'll still be close enough, hopefully, to benefit from all of it. It's nice. The more stuff came from it, again, nothing against Calgary or the city, but yeah, I mean, we got all the grocery stores, everything here. It's if you don't have to go, then you can avoid the traffic and all that other stuff that comes with the city. But love coming in there and playing for sure. Calgary's still got that kind of Western feel to it that we kind of are drawn to. Lots of honky tonks and stuff starting up again that were kind of shut down over COVID. And yeah, it's just it's a fun city to play in for sure.
It's funny, before we get going, how we met. I bumped into you and I said, "Hey, Tanya's friend."
More farmers, yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a farmer and they're east of Calgary, we probably got a bit of connection with them. But yeah, that's obviously a great family. We've played out the McWilliams family. We've played out at their farm a few times, and I think we were talking on the at the CCMAs there, you and I, about just loving the big, like, we play Nashville North every year, and it's just an incredible energy. But it's equally as fun to me just to kind of sit on a stool at somebody's farm and just kind of pick a few songs and stuff too. That's always been a fun thing too, and that's they're a great family as well to do it for. To feel like those people get my songs maybe even a little more than everybody else, right? So yeah, that's cool.
Cool. Well, thanks again, brother, for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Yeah, awesome.